Hi there. Welcome to this Ucam Xpert version 2025.11 release overview. My name is Silvia Lima and I'm with Ucam Belgium. It is my pleasure to guide you today on a small tour around our new software features. The main highlights are, for example, the first part of Job Tree Server, the new attribute editor, and the guided workflow feature Flowguide. Let's start with Job Tree Server. This release contains the first phase of Job Tree Server. It ensures consistency across all workstations. It centralizes important Ucam Xpert settings, facilitates efficient parallel operations with job and task locking features, and reduces the risk of errors by enabling simultaneous automated and manual work. When opening Job Tree Server, you see two tabs, one for the server and one for the local side. The jobs in the job list on server side are colored differently. They are colored green if they are available on a local side and on the server, in black if the job is only available on the server. The job list on local is showing the jobs in blue if it is on the local and on the server side, and in black if it is only on local. If a job is copied to local, it is locked on the server, means another user can download, but only gets a copy with a different name. I will show that in Ucam Xpert. On top of all the functionality from Job Tree Local, if the license for Job Tree Server is available, the Job Tree window automatically opens the GUI with two tabs, one for local and one for the server. The server side is secured with a login. The list view for the server has a light blue background, so it is easy to differentiate between the local side with a white background and the server side with a light blue. From the server side, a user can download a job to his local machine to work on it. For example, I take this one here and I download it to my local machine. In the status bar, I get the information that the job tree was updated, copied to local successfully. So, if I go to local, I have the same job as on the server side. On the server side, the color changed to green to indicate that it is available on both sides. On the local side, it is blue to indicate the same thing, only from local side. Another user can now download it, but he will get the information that the job is used by another user and only a copy is downloaded. Let me make an example with this one, which is locked by user 3. If I download that, I get the information that it is downloaded as a local copy, and the name gets the information copy underscore in front of the original name. Of course, I can now view, measure, and do everything with this job, but I can't upload again with the original name, so it is impossible to overwrite something which is worked on by another user. If I have downloaded it to slightly change the job and make it a complete different job, then I can use the rename functionality, give it a different name, like this one. And if I then work on it and upload it again to the server, there is no issue with it. There will be a new entry for that job. You see here, that was the original, and this is the new one. In future releases, this feature will be extended to have a kind of step locking so that I can download single steps, and a layer locking so that I even can download only specific layers from a specific step and lock them. That will make it possible to work in parallel at the same time. That's it for this one, and we go back to our overview. The next topic on our list is the attribute editor. Our new attribute editor combines all necessary modifications and handlings for attributes. It is the fastest handling of attributes we ever had and comes with an intuitive GUI. There is no training needed for using it. It provides easy handling of custom and predefined attributes and prevents unnecessary switches between features formerly needed to be used for attribute handling. Let's have a small demo in Ucam Xpert. If I, as a user, would like to handle any attribute of a job, I can now open Main Menu, Edit, Attribute Editor, and directly see which layer is in plane 1 from this job. I directly see the object attributes, the aperture attributes, the layer attributes, and the job attributes. Below here, I have the possibility to change or add or delete attributes. But first, we go to Add. So for example, if I would like to see all predefined attributes, I have them here in a list. But of course, it is easier to say, okay, I want to have something specific. So I will use the copper adjuster exclusion. I select some draws and I add that on selection. For every predefined attribute, you get the information if it is a string, integer, number, unit, boolean, or an option. And in this case, it is boolean, and I would like to have it set on true. So I add that to the selections. If I now go to Query Object and query the objects I selected, I will find the copper exclusion on true. With the buttons below, I can select specific objects with a specific attribute. I can take the attribute and delete it, for example. In that case, if I use the query again, nothing is on the object anymore. The same goes for custom attributes. If I create something like SL's testpad and I set it to true and I add it on selections, if I go there and query the selected ones again, I see the attribute. If I go to the end, I see my new custom attribute and I can delete that too. So it is away again. I think this is a really helpful and easy tool to use and a nice addition to our Ucam Xpert. Now back to the next feature. In the release overview on info.ucamco.com, you can have a look at all the examples. Here, for example, for the attribute editor, the object attributes, the aperture attributes, the layer attributes, and the job attributes. But now let's switch to the next feature, the Flowguide. Our new Flowguide reduces operator errors by providing clear guided workflows. It improves efficiency with a flexible combination of automated and manual tasks and improves consistency throughout the CAM process. You can build in your own flow step video guide and automate flow steps with scripts. Now up to some examples and a short overview in Ucam Xpert. To open Flowguide, you either can open it with main menu, job, Flowguide, or you can create a workspace for that. The first step will be to select a template. You can create different templates for different functionalities, and I have an example which I will show here. But first, let's have a look at the template which creates the flow guide. The template is an Excel sheet and it is quite easy to use. You need different tabs for that, and the flow tab will create the groups. And it defines the color in which you see it in the flow guide. For example, pre-process and drill handler in a dark red, and you see here pre-process and drill handler in a dark red. For each group, you need to have an Excel tab. Means I need a tab for the pre-process down here, the drill handler down here, and so on. You can create each flow with subgroups and flow steps. I use as an example the pre-process. If I open the pre-process in our flow guide, the job preparation in here, before create netref layer, create netref, and after create netref. If I open the subgroups, I see the flow steps. The flow steps are created with the leave name, and you see the name is AI Start. Use AI to create a job. You see it here. Or for example, sort drill diameters, and you see it here. The action name I will explain a little bit later. Same for instructions and video. In the flow guide, the question mark indicates a subgroup which is not finished yet. The exclamation mark shows the active subgroup. If something is completed, it will get the OK sign, and if every flow step is completed, the subgroup is getting the OK sign too. Then we have the movie sign here. The movie symbol, if not grayed out, shows available trainings or information videos. They are placed in the video column. For example, here, you see now it is not grayed out anymore, and it will open a video which is placed here. It's a simple MP4 and it will give you the information. Let me show that. So it starts, for example, a video which explains how to use models. The yellow VHS sign shows the availability of a script. For example, to automatically open the needed GUI or other scripted actions. It is the column action name in the table, like here, for example. You have the VHS there. And if I run that, it will open the GUI, so everything which is scriptable can be started from here. This one is the OK sign to say I've done what is needed here, and you see that the moment I click on it, it gives the feedback. If something is not needed, you can use the skip sign. So, for example, if the image compare is not needed here, we can go there and skip it. And you see it in front of the flow step. In this white field, you can give additional information coming from the instructions column in the table. So, for example, for build layer netlist, layer netlist created. The white field below gives the possibility for the user to give a feedback. So, for example, why something was skipped or whatever. And on top of it, you can add files, for example, pictures to it as a user to say or explain why something was skipped, why this remark is in there, or however it is seen. So after that, it goes into the information window and can be opened from here. If parts of the flow guide needed to be reset, you can use the right mouse button and reset a single flow step. For example, like this, right mouse button and reset. Or you can reset a full subgroup. Means I go here and reset and everything is going to start again. To start a new flow guide without the need to have the old one, you can delete the flow guide folder. That one you can see in your job tree step inside the PCB, and you have a folder flow guide. If you delete that, you can restart from template. If you want to stay with it but still want to create a new flow guide, you can rename it and then you can start a new flow guide. I think this is enough of this very flexible and comfortable to use tool. And I will go back to our overview now. Now we are getting to the extensions made for features published in former releases. I will start with AI Start. Now it is possible to define your own step name for the job imported with AI Start. The new UcamDB key ujt.aistart.stepName provides the possibility to change the default name from imported to whatever fits the company rules. Below in the overview, you see an example. For example, if nothing is defined, your step name will be imported. If you change the key, for example, to PCB, your step name will be PCB. Next on the list are the extensions to JobTree Local. We have extended the ODB++ output in JobTree Local. The complete UJT job selected from the job list will now be exported as ODB++. The ODB++ data will contain all steps of the UJT job. The second change is to specify the folder name of the data imported via Smart Start. Setting the new UcamDB key ujt.copy.original provides the option to change the default name from original to the name of your choice. The DRC Xpert extension is the often asked for usage of shortcut keys. Now it's possible to scroll through DRC Xpert errors by using the keyboard. Comma for the previous error, dot for the next error, K accept the error, With L, you can flag an error, and with the semicolon, you can select an error. To show the extension to our DRC Xpert, I have this small job, and I have run a outer copper check, and now I take the pet to region issues and have a look at it. So it's 14 of them, and below here I can normally go through the errors and see them one by one. So if I now use the shortcut keys, for example the dot for the next one, you see it is going to the next error in here. Or I can go to the previous error with a comma and it goes backwards. With the K, I can accept an error. Of course, you can't see that I press a K, but I'm doing it. So please believe me. And if I do a K, you see directly here that this error was marked as accepted. Or with the L, I can flag an error for another person to have a look at it, and it is flagged. With select, so the semicolon, I can select something which is involved in this error. Okay, that's it. And so now I go back to the release overview. The Galaxy AOI Output extensions are the new VHS methods to automate the Galaxy output. You see the list in here, and you find it in the release overview on info.ucamco.com. View numbers now comes with the ability to measure clearance between nets. The new option to measure between nets will show the smallest clearance between the two involved nets. Here is a small example, but I will show that in Ucam Xpert. The View Numbers extension is small, but very helpful to find the smallest clearance between two different nets. With clicking the new button Net in the Numbers window, here, and selecting 2 points on different nets, Ucam Xpert directly jumps to the smallest clearance and shows the value. The same value you can find in the Numbers window at Clearance. And that's it. Back to the release overview. And we have an extension to our Hypertool, and this is the possibility to get the default value of an attribute. The description is here in the release overview. And as always, there is more. Ucam Xpert version 2025.11 comes with a host of fixes for issues you have cared to report. Please keep on doing so. Your feedback is highly appreciated. Thank you. We list major issues as soon as they are detected in the file open_issues_datecode.txt in the version folder on the FTP side. Please monitor this to avoid potential production problems. We recommend to install this update at your earliest convenience. The installer can be downloaded from the Ucam FTP download server. We recommend to use an FTP client as most browsers do not support FTP. For questions, please contact our local business partner or the Ucamco help desk. We thank you for choosing Ucam Xpert. If you would like to see the video again, you can restart it here in the release overview, or you can watch it directly on our YouTube channel. We are already at the end of our tour, and the only thing left to say is thank you very much for your attention, and bye-bye.